My YouTube fans, shout out Instagram, y'all can see me good. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, so anyway, we're talking about the creative process today. It still looks a little bit dark on YouTube, but I'm glad that y'all rocking with me. It's your boy Sly Tha Deuce. I appreciate y'all touching the base. It's Thursday. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this pretty regularly. I want to be touching base with y'all. Tuesdays, I'll be talking about the financial stuff. And then on Thursdays, we'll be talking about the creative stuff, right? And really merging those two worlds together. So today I want to talk about your creative process. What is your creative process? How do you create? Who are some of the people whose creative process you enjoy watching or you enjoy being a part of, right? You may not necessarily create music yourself, but you might be like, man, I love watching, I don't know, behind the scenes footage of Lil Durk or whoever, your favorite artist is. I'm just curious to know your creative process, and then I'll go a little bit into some of the stuff that I've been creating and some of the stuff that I'm working on. So while we go ahead and wait for a couple more people to join, and while we wait for some folks to join the discussion, I wanted to go ahead and hit y'all with a little bit of something I've been cooking up, something I've been working on, and see what y'all think it might could be like. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Tell me if you feel like it might be something worth checking out in the future. So I say look like imposters to me. All about your commas, huh? But about them apostrophes. Boy, you don't believe in ownership. That's why you ain't on the ship. But I give you this. You smart as a whip. Yeah, you score I copy quick, dog. Stop this shit. Every little idea ricochets in the bigger plays. See me now, they be like, wow, but these visions from kitty days. You ain't heard that Jeezy Nacho freestyle? You been amazed. The information age and players still ain't waking up. Just can't face the fact they've been enslaved. It's crazy, huh? And these ladies talking about who falling off and shit. That's why I'm screening on my calls like I'm Popovich. Spur of the moment, murdered the hope of all of my opponents. Now, when y'all hear the beat, though, because I got the beat done by my boy 5280 Mystic. Y'all might know him. Shout out to everybody from the CO. 5280 Mystic actually made the beat for that one. And so we are cooking up a project together right now. What it do? Joining. I got some folks joining on my Instagram. I got some folks joining on my YouTube. So it's very exciting to be with you both, and it's very excited to be with you all at the same time. Today we're talking about the creative process. Who are some artists whose creative process you may have enjoyed watching over the years? Who are some influences on yourself if you're an artistic type, and what is your creative process? So I feel like my creative process is it's interesting because it's really, for me, it's tough to define it. Sorry, my jacket is all pillowy. Y'all, what y'all think about my jacket, man? It's not like new or nothing. I got it at least like 45 minutes ago, so it's not really new no more. But I just think it's super, super Wakanda out. I just love it. Shout out to the culture, man. Shout out to everybody that, what I'm saying, know what's going on. But anyway, my creative process is, first of all, getting a good headspace. Get in a place where I feel comfortable, physically and mentally, and then I sometimes just let I don't want to say just like let the emotions flow. I feel like that sounds cliche, but that's true. I mean, it's really what you do. You get into a good headspace. You get into a good rhythm. You get some good people around you. That's number one, I think, for a creative session. I can create music by myself, and I'm much more creative when there's other people around. Eminem said something about not being able to really get started unless there's something to feed off of. That really resonates with me. So I definitely understand that like the people that are around you can be such an impactful part of what you're trying to get done. So get some impactful people around you, get some people who are on a similar wavelength, but at the same time a little bit different. Get some people who might be a little bit more eclectic than you or a little bit more conservative than you, and somehow some way you all come together. I think that really is good for the creative process. Another part of my creative process is to always accept creative influences when they come, right? So there's going to be some times when you're at work. There's going to be some times when you're with your lady or your guy. There's going to be some times when you might be at the gym. I mean, I don't know. And a creative thought will come to you. Something might inspire you. You might see something. You might hear something that makes you think of another idea, right? Harness that, take that, write that down, jot that down. Even if you got to take a digital note in your phone, if you got to write down something actual on your notepad, do that. Take that time, invest that time, and it'll pay off for sure, because I'm able to sometimes go back and I don't even remember everything that I wrote. I just know, like, oh, I was at work today and I wrote something. I was at Marshall's and the line was going to take forever. So while I was in line, I remember jotting down some notes. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember jotting down some notes. And then when I go back later and look at those, I'm like, oh my God, these are bars. Or, I'll sometimes find that I maybe expressed something that I was dealing with. So it's sort of like journaling in a way, but I didn't set out and say, oh, I'm going to journal on the back of this receipt. It wasn't necessarily designed like that. But the creative process, I think that I think honestly the wording on the creative process makes it seem a little bit like there's some type of recipe, and I would say that that's not so. I would say that it's different for everybody, and however you create best is, hold on, however you create is your creative process. And I think that your creative process takes a little bit to get to know. I think you got to dive into it a little bit more. You've got to practice. I mean, you got to just create. You got to just keep making stuff. You got to keep producing stuff. And then you'll start to discover what works better for you. Okay, when I wake up at 6 in the morning, those days are productive. Those days are not productive. Those mornings are productive. Excuse me. Those mornings are not productive. What is actually happening in your life that is encouraging your creative endeavors, or maybe keeping you from them, right? Are there any habits? Are there anything that you're realizing, like, man, I really could create more. I really would be able to create more if I wasn't hungover every morning. And that's just an example. I don't think anybody out here is dealing with that. But if you are, that's serious, right? So it's not my place. But I'm just saying that free up time. Make sure you actually have the time and the mental space for the creative endeavors that you're trying to undertake. I think the creative process. I wish this was like one of those videos where it was like 1, 2, 3, the steps to, maybe I'll write a creative process outline. Maybe I'll develop like some type of guide for the loose structure. So I will say, if I had to put something together, because I don't want you to waste your time. I don't want to just be rambling for no need. So if I had to put something to it, I would say that the creative process is first ideation. You got to think it up. You got to understand what you're trying to get done in your mind and have a clear, tangible, goal. If I'm trying to write a song, but I'm putting on football pads, I'm not really aligned with what I'm trying to get done, right? So that's a silly example to show what I'm trying to say. Ideation, then I think creation. I mean, you take it from the idea stage, you got to start actually making it the tangible raw. If it's a song, if it's music, you got to just write. If it's a beat, you got to just lay down the patterns. You got to just stack them together, just make it for now. And then I think there's, I want to say adaptation. I've got these steps, I think, spelled out on my Instagram. Make sure y'all follow me if you don't follow me already on Instagram. That's at Motivated Mister, all one word, motivated, and then Mister is Mister. Mr. Motivated Mister. I don't know why I'm talking to the Instagram camera and they got comments on the screen. They know my name, but YouTube doesn't. So y'all make sure y'all follow me actually on YouTube. See, I'm getting confused now. Y'all make sure you follow me on YouTube. Sly Tha Deuce. Y'all already know. SLY space THA space DEUCE. Much love, much appreciation. But the creative process. So there's ideation. You got to think it up. Then there's creation. You got to actually make it, something tangible that you can actually, hold, build. Then there is adaptation. I think that you've got to adapt. You've got to, get some edits. You might have to do some revisions. You might have to change it. You might have to, like I said, when you just write out all the bars, I was taught to write out the thought that you have for a song and then go back and erase the words that you don't actually need. So, like, tell the full story first and then go back and make it rhyme. That's just kind of the way I do it. You don't have to do it that way. But then you're going to want to adaptation. Then you're going to want to, once you got it again, once you fixed it and all of that and it's ready to go, then you're going to want to promote. I feel like that's the biggest part of creation. And I think that it's easy to get like burnout sometimes. I think we get so involved in the actual creating of the thing. We get so involved in the creating of the song. We get so involved in the creating of the art. We get so involved in the creating of the amazing fashion that we make, or the things that we do for the culture. Right, our culture is just booming with talent and creativity, and I think we put so much effort into that that we sometimes expect like other people will see that effort, other people will see the how important this is to me, and then they will want my product, they will want my creative my creation, right? They'll want my song, they'll want my artwork, because I mean, just of how much work I've put into it, and that's just false. It's just false, and it's not that people don't want your stuff, but they're getting bombarded with so many messages. They're being advertised so many things every day that you've got to really cut through the noise. I mean, you've got to be able to reach and touch tangible people in a tangible way. And I know that sounds strange in this age of digital marketing, but it's still so relevant. It's still so prevalent. Like, people just want a genuine interaction. People just want real one-on-one, that feeling. And they understand that they might be on a mailing list, or they understand that you might also have this coupon that's available to other people, but the coupon still feels amazing to them. They don't want, can you imagine if, like, I'm just using random names, if JC Penney sent you like a 5% coupon, you would be like, I mean, what is that? Like, what is that? What's 5%, right? So you want, and even though when you get that 50% off clearance sale or whatever, Joss A. Bank has been blowing me up. I don't know if y'all shop at Joss A. Bank, but if you do, you should definitely sign up for their email list, because they're like giving stuff away at this point, like $59 sports codes. Anyway, I'm not in affiliate marketing, but they do really good stuff like that, keeps you interested, keeps you engaged in their products, and what they've got going on. It keeps them top of mind. So you're going to have to promote that same way. People want to support you. People want to support what you got going on, but you got to tell your story, got to get it out there. And you've got to just like believe in yourself. I mean, if you are under the impression that you put in all this work for your project or your creation and it's just going to take off from there, it's just going to, do the work for itself, that's false, man. It's just false. And I'm not trying to be, I know I'm talking quickly, I'm not trying to seem like I'm being flippant or being short, but it's just untrue. So like, we shouldn't even really waste a lot of time discussing it. The fact is, you've got to promote. You should be promoting before, you should be promoting during, you should be promoting after. Marketing is absolutely where I think the biggest gap for creatives is. I think that we do a lot of creating. I mean, we do a lot of amazing stuff. We get vibe sessions going. We get, you've been in the hacky sack circles with a couple backpackers, and the freestyle start flowing. Those are dope. Those are amazing. But why are they not as known as something like the MTV Video Awards or something, right? Like, the musical talent at the MTV Music Awards may not be as incredible or actually impactful as a legitimate, intimate gathering at a festival, but you hear more about it because it's marketed better, it's promoted better, it's promoted stronger. So all that to say, if I had to break it down for you in a nutshell, I'm gonna keep this video super short. I'm gonna try to chop it down, see if I can get it under 10 minutes. But ideation, right? Creation, adaptation. I feel like there's another one that I'm missing, because I feel like there's 5. But again, check out my Instagram page. I kind of go into it there. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to comment. Let's get the conversation going. Curious to know, what are your steps in the creative process when you're going about making something, when you're going about getting an idea off the ground? What do you do? What do you do? I gotta know. So hit your boy up. In the meantime, for my YouTube folks, I'm not gonna mess it up this time. For my YouTube folks, I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to swing on over to Instagram, where you can like, my photos. You can feel free to follow me. You can feel free to DM me. You can also feel free to hit me up if you guys ever want to chat or want to be featured in the live chat interaction. Just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to get you on air. So it's your boy, Sly Tha Deuce, checking in. Talked about the creative process just a little bit, just touched on it. But give me your thoughts. Let me know what y'all think. And I'll holler at you next time. All right. Peace and love, y'all. Go. Y'all get me for a little while longer. So now that I've ended the Instagram, let me make sure, because I was on my phone earlier, so they're not going to be able to get the benefit of this. But here we go. Okay, my bad. So it's my creative process is ideate, create, adapt, manifest, and then promote. So by that, it's the same elements, but I took adapt and manifest and kind of glommed them together when I was talking to you earlier, and that's my bad. So in reality, the ideation phase still is standalone. The creation phase is still standalone. Adaptation. I think that I separated that because I think it really is its own mental like process. The when you write something and you come up with something and then you get an edit or you get maybe some feedback on it that you need to change it, that can be unnerving, for lack of a better term. And so sometimes can make you feel like I guess maybe you start second guessing what you got going on. And so being able to, that's why I say it's adaptation, trying to figure out, is this worth keeping? Is this not worth keeping? Can this be tweaked? Can this be saved? Those kind of discussions and those kind of conversations, I think, come into play at that point. So adapting is its own thing, or sometimes you've got an idea that you got to mesh with other people's idea. You might be collaborating on a song with another artist. You might be collaborating on a piece with another painter. You might be collaborating with another marketing team on a client, right? So there's lots of different things that you may have to adapt to, right? You've got this plan, this other team has this plan, and you guys have got to really come together to move forward. But sorry, I got some dope tunes going in my headphone right now, and I should never have anything that distracts me from you, but you know, the tunes. So okay, so then after you adapt, after you've taken that kind of stuff into account, then I would say manifest. That's when so the revisions and stuff come first. Now that you've got the fixed and the revised and the tightened up idea of what you want to do, you then manifest it. You make it happen. You bring it from the ethereal spirit thought realm into the physical, right? You all of that stuff. So you do that and then you promote. So promotion, again, like I said, is standalone. I just really wanted to clarify. I knew there was 5 steps. Again, I think I'll probably type this out. And then, I mean, it'll be free game. I'm not going to charge y'all for Sly's creative process. But if you'd be interested to learn more, let me know, and I'll make sure that I put some thought into it based on your insights and your input. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I don't want this to be very long. I've already ended it with the Instagram crew. That just wouldn't be fair to them, but you're my YouTube family, so you're special. That's why you get a little bit longer video. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. Check me out, SlyThaDeuce, Sly Tha Deuce. It's your boy. Oh, before I go, I do want to let y'all know one quick change. If you've been following the progress of the song Gold, then you know that some very exciting things have been happening, and they're going to continue to happen. So please stay tuned in for that. What I can tell you right now is there's been a slight name change. It's called Heart of Gold now, but it's still available on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and all of those major and minor platforms. So I really, really appreciate it. Y'all check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that, follow, hit me up. Holla!